Hey everyone, just give me 1 second here. I'm working remote. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Yep.
Thank,
Yes.
thank you. So let's see here. I'm getting a bunch of text messages, but I don't know if I can handle them right now. So anyhow, today's our agent meeting, preferred agent meeting, the ADR agents, and we're gonna get Kim McCluskey on the call today if she's not on already. We had a bit of a hiccup where Neil was off, Tanya is flying right now, and Darren just boarded an airplane. So the good news is they're going to try to get more clients. The bad news is they can't be on the call, but I did send the link to Kim here just a couple minutes ago. So we're hoping that she joins us. But before she does that, and I'll probably only be able to be on this call 20 minutes today. Oh, hold on. Let me just send this back to Kim. Make sure I send her the right one. Okay. Um, any wins from anybody? Anything that you guys wanted to go over? Any wins from the group at all? How was EXPCon? Well, go ahead, whoever's going to talk.
Oh, good morning, Eric. Hey, everybody. My two wins. Well, my win is I have two closings today. One just happened at 10, and I have another one at 12 noon. So those are my wins, and they are ADR listings. So
Nice, very nice.
thank you.
Yeah, my win is I'm at a property right now for a home inspection. So I don't do very many transactions, but it's for my son, so I had to do his. So we finally got the offer accepted last night. Of course, 9 o'clock at night, but it's the way agents do it, I guess, these days. Aisha, did you have a question or did you have a win to
Oh
share?
no. Well, I actually have a win. I have three ADR listings, but I just got a binding contract on my second one. I thought I had one on another one, but it got withdrawn. So I was really kind of bummed out. But hey, it circled back, and I have a second one. So I'm kind of excited for that. That really got the momentum going. It's a lot of times when you put in the work, and unfortunately, we like to see things happen sometimes before we really get our motivation. That's just how a lot of people are. So it really gave me a lot of motivation and push. And I really thank you for the opportunity.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear things are working out. And of course, reach out to your asset manager if you have any questions or any things come up. That's what we're there for sure. So, any other wins? Anything else that you
I
guys want? How was EXPCon? Anybody have any comments about EXPCon?
I have a win. I have a win.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say I got my first ADR listing. So that was good. That's my win.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm multitasking, but no, I'm glad that worked out, Shauna. It's how did the calls go last week with the daily huddles? Did you run those last week or?
Yeah, it was fun and they went really smooth because my mentor Kelly, my huddle mentor Kelly was very patient with me, but I did have a good time.
That's fantastic. No, I'm glad. It's really nice, when I can lean on other people in the group. There's several people on this call that have helped me out over the last year or so, handling calls, handling different things that are going on, that need to be taken care of. We try to make sure that these calls go. Oh wait, I have people in the waiting room. I didn't even realize it. Um, that these calls go, without a hitch. And we certainly appreciate whenever you guys can jump in and help us out. So I'm just making sure.
Eric, if you want to make me co-host, I can manage that from my
Yeah,
computer.
let me see how to do that. That's is that under where's co under more?
If you click on participants and then you click on my name, you should be able to add me as a co-host.
Okay, I'm going to do that actually.
Hi, guys.
Hello, hello. Actually, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's see, was Kim able to jump in the call?
Kim's here.
Hi, Kim. Sorry,
Hey.
didn't realize that there were people waiting in the waiting room. So, finally, got everybody, brought into the room. So, I didn't realize that everybody was traveling today. So, we have a big group on today. We have, 69 agents or 70 agents on the call. And these are agents who are preferred agents with the ADR network. And I just really wanted to see if we could just give everybody like an update as to what's going on, any best practices that you've seen over the last couple months, anything that agents might want to be focused on when taking a listing, and anything maybe the new clients are requesting from the agents. I appreciate if you could just maybe just talk about that a little bit.
You're speaking to me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. Okay, no, I think everybody's doing a great job, and I appreciate everybody's hard efforts. I know everybody works so hard, and I appreciate that so much. The biggest things right now that I hear comments about would be um, timelines. Of course, are very important. We have to meet those. It's part of the job. So, sometimes those get a little lax. So just always be mindful of that. When taking an assignment, if if you're not prepared for the expense, have that conversation up front. I've had a few lately that didn't necessarily have the funds to handle the expenses, and it kind of just hit little roadblocks here and there. Not the end of the world. There are things we can do, and we have other options that we can navigate through. But it's just something that we need to be very vocal about up front and not try to, not talk about it. Um, and then pro photos. That's been another big tickler of the clients lately. Uh, what an agent may be calling pro photos and what the client is calling pro photos may be two different things. Um, and maybe just get you a good photographer in your back pocket and have that ready at all times. Have multiple vendors in your back pocket for all times for these expenses. Um, and I think that honestly, that's really about it as far as that. Those three things would be my top topics.
Okay. And as far as the clients that we're working with right now, have there been any challenges with BPOs or getting prices that we thought were the right price accepted? Is there any comments that you would potentially have along those lines?
Yeah, so I mean, occasionally we do miss the mark on some of the comps. Just be very, do your due diligence, make sure you're selecting the best comps within the time frames. If you have to go outside of your distances or outside of your month, please make comments about that. Be very vocal and detailed as to why you chose that comp versus this comp to be the best choice. Be very detailed. That's one other thing I should have added. The BPOs. Everybody is doing really good, but just a little extra, more color, more words, more detail. Um, Paint the entire picture because you guys know these clients have probably never seen the property other than on a piece of paper. So we need to paint that entire picture very good for them. List out all repairs, even if you do not recommend they get done. to sell the property, list them. Because, you know, on our BPO, there is a place to say yes or no, you recommend. I definitely want to see all the repairs that you can see that are needed. That way, when we get down the road under contract or whatnot, we're not questioned with how come we didn't know about this. That's hits hard sometimes, you know, when they ask that, because then it makes them question the agent choice. And I know sometimes your first visit, you're excited, maybe you are in a hurry, maybe you're busy that day and you don't catch everything, and that's okay. But if you notice it down the road, definitely let your asset manager know. Same thing with utilities. You know, if you go there and the utilities are on today, but they're not on next week, which sometimes it happens, be sure and let your asset manager know. Again, same thing with repairs. If you find a repair you missed initially, let the asset manager know, because we can always just send that on to the client and ask them if they want to take care of that. And you know, make sure you're just very, and I always try to encourage the agents, which I think they do, you know, especially if they're new, to refer to their upline or their mentor to help them the first couple of BPOs to help get it right. Because it is a learning curve for sure. The BPO is a lot the first time, and we've got plenty of people who are seasoned and who understand how it works and can do that. And again, you know, I'm always available. I try to always be available. So please don't ever hesitate calling me if you have questions or issues, because if I can't help you, I can get you to the right person to assist.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. A lot of times agents, maybe they think they have a dumb question, and not sure if they should ask that to the asset manager or not. And I always let agents know, just check with me, if you're not sure, and then we can because we do have mentors in the group. Larry helps out with a lot of agents, and then Robert Welcard helps out, Jeff Russell, Kelly Cummings, and you know, April Lloyd, Latanya, Katrina, all, and I'm missing people, of course. There's a lot of people in our group, but they're all willing to help you guys out. So don't take the position of not asking the question or assuming that you know the answer. You know, get it out there to one of us, and then we can let the asset manager know. We can somehow get the information you need, without making it look like you didn't know what you should have asked or how you should have asked it. The terminology changes when we're dealing with SFR companies compared to the old uh, um, type of REO that we've used to dealing with in the past, but the product is the same. You know, we want to get that home or asset off the books and get it sold, and everybody's happy at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I appreciate those comments, Kim. It really helps. I think it helps our agents know a little bit more what's going on. And I apologize for agents on the call that maybe that just for finding out about this call today. I do publish this in the newsletter. There's an REO section of the newsletter. I think it's section 6. And I always let agents know weeks in advance when this is coming up. So be sure to read the newsletter. You know, I don't put a lot of time into it each week, but it's probably a solid hour to get that together. And we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page with everything. We feel as though communication is really key to all this. The mentors on the call right now, do you guys have any questions that you wanted to ask Kim, or things that you're hearing from agents? I don't want to open up just to the agents. I'd rather just open up to the mentors if you guys have heard anything at this point in time, and then we can just have any final comments from Kim today.
Hey, Kim, this is Larry. Some of the properties, we're finding that are overpriced from the start. Maybe they're not following pricing strategies. And then we get into 3 or 4 months into it and they are reassigned, right? Because we're not getting the traction and stuff that the client wants. Is there a way that we can be more proactive on our side other than just the pricing? Like, should we be communicating more with the asset management team? Like, how do we get proactive with that? Because this is like this isn't like an everyday thing, but I have seen this happen across the country and stuff here. And if there's some way that we can kind of get ahead of that, I would love to be proactive with that.
Absolutely. That is a great question. And first off, let me say, do not take it personal. It's not personal. These are directives coming down from the clients. And it's happening to our most seasoned agents all the way down to our newer agents. So, I know it's hard, and I know people who care and who are committed to their job, they do take it personal, but please try not to take it personal. But yes, I always say, do not go down without a fight. 9 times out of 10, the property is going to be overlisted. It just is. Um, so when you're doing your weekly or monthly or all your reports that you do, be very vocal, be very detailed. If you have to shoot your asset manager, recent comps to show this is what's happening right here in our neighborhood, and this house just is not going to get the traction it needs at this price. Do not hold back. Send it on. It's okay. Um, the asset managers, they're busy. They don't have time to sit down and call everybody and ask everybody, hey, this or that, why is this not, what's going on, all the things. So yes, be very vocal about it. Go down with a bang if you have to. It's okay. And I'm not saying that it's going to change it, but it might. So it's worth the try.
Hey,
And
hey Kim, you mind if this is Neil? Hi everyone,
oh
this is Neil.
yes.
Sorry, I jumped on late. I was able to find some time, but I also kind of wanted to provide some color about that topic and the pricing. So the main seller, our main client, their policy is to automatically price the property 103 to 107% of what the market value is determined as. And that's not just the agent's list price, that's the agent's list price plus a third party BPO plus some other sources from, other various online, Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, whatever those values to get whatever we get from those values. And then that's kind of combined and turned into a market plan where the asset manager determines the value. And then they're listing 103 to 107% higher than that value. So if you keep that in mind when you're pricing your BPO at the beginning, that might help give you an edge on it. And you have to be very detailed. And honestly, one thing I've noticed when reviewing these BPOs is that the sold comps really don't tell the tale of what's happening in the market, just due to the fact that because they sold a couple months ago. And honestly, values in certain markets have really torpedoed um, across the board, Texas, Florida, all those kind of markets, to where the list comps are actually more beneficial than the sold comps right now. But to go back to the pricing, so they're going to list high automatically. So keep that in mind when you're doing your BPO. And then the reassignment typically comes at the 90-day mark. And if we're listed below the MSR or BPO value. So they're not really looking to pull the plug unless it's like a performance issue related thing until 90 days and we are under your value. So that's also something you can kind of keep in mind when you're doing your MSRs and things like that. So I hope that helps
That's great.
clarify the
Yeah.
situation.
That was great, Neil. I appreciate it. I didn't even know that information, so thanks for bringing that to light and
Yeah.
letting us know. I have really time for just about one or two questions. I have to get out of my car here in just a minute, but any questions from the mentors right now?
I was just going to say one thing real quick. Jeff Russell here in Southern California. By the time, and this applies to all asset management companies, not just ADR and their clients, but by the time the property is listed at the price that we said, now we're chasing the market down, and that price is no longer the price anymore. So Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, well, to counteract that, they're now having us review the list prices every 10 days. And I'm getting approval almost, I would say, 3 out of 4 times I'm getting a price reduction. So we've recently noticed that problem
Good.
and have been more aggressive to getting down to the agent's BPO value within the first 30 days, as opposed to, before it was we didn't even review for 30 days and then it was another 15 after that. Now it's just every 10 days on the market. And me being one of the AMs, I'm submitting for the reduction almost every single time, whether they have the ability to approve or deny. But if the facts are there and the comps are there and the comments are there and the agent's values there, they're almost guaranteed to approve, at least something to get us close. But that has been the directive from the seller, is get to the agent's value faster. We're going to test it out a little bit high, but then, let's drop it as fast as possible. So hopefully that gets corrected.
That's extremely helpful. Thank you, Neil.
Yep.
All right. Well, I thought this was a very productive meeting, honestly. Thanks, Neil, I know you weren't expected to be on, and I appreciate you doing that. And also Kim as well I literally texted Kim at 11:30 the link. So I
Thank
really
you, Kim.
appreciate everything you guys do. You're very helpful to me. It makes my life real easy, and the agents who are preferred in our group, this is a lot of them, appreciate that too. I did record this call, so I'll look for that in the newsletter. And again, watch the newsletter for when the next one will be. I'll talk to Darren and get a little bit better confirmation as to when that date will be. Typically, it's the last. No, today's not the last. Yeah, it is the last Tuesday of the month. But with the holidays coming up, we might do things a little bit differently, like make it earlier in the month. Honestly, I have time for like one more or two, maybe two more questions, but any last comments or questions that anybody needed to make today?
Yes, if you don't mind. Hi, everyone again. This is Aisha. I don't know if this is the right platform to ask this question or not, but I noticed that you can pay for additional, I don't know if it's zip codes or extra coverage. Does anyone else utilize that in this particular group, or to be
Which
like I don't know
platform
if
is
it's a
that?
premium placement or
Is that the Bid on
I guess
Homes platform we're talking about?
yes, yes.
Extra zip code. Everything's geolocated, right? So like the way the properties go in is, if you have a preferred status, you're obviously at the top, and then it's paid bid on home subscriptions appeared after the preferred section, and then after that, it's really just geolocation. So there is, if you don't already have a preferred status, I would imagine, I don't want to sit here and say, yeah, I recommend you spend the extra money, because that's a business decision you need to make on your own. But anybody else that's using that platform that's not familiar with you'll get top billing when it comes to searching the agents within, a 50 to 60 mile radius. So
And
I don't know if that helps or not.
one other thing to add to that, a little off the topic but similar, I've noticed, and I do try to, uh, relay this to the agents. I think early on, a lot of the agents were putting in their brokers' addresses. And when I go to search for an agent, it's showing them, let's say 100 miles away, when in fact you may only be 20 miles away. So make sure your profile is actually your working address and not your broker's address.
Yeah, I guess another tip would be, profiles are free in the system. So if you're covering a very, very large
Hmm.
area, might be better to just create a second profile with a different email address in that location as well. So that way, when it pulls, the geolocation of where you're at, you got each profile showing you're in a different spot. I do recommend doing that
Absolutely.
as well, because it's like I said, it's a free membership. So, doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
You know. So,
Yeah, that's a great idea because I know we do have several agents who do work large areas, and I hate for somebody, because I see different faces and I try to get, everybody a property, and every time I go search these certain agents and they're so far away, and I have to wonder if they have the wrong address in there. So something just to look at.
yeah, especially if you're in a rural area, 50 miles in, Utah is different than 50 miles in a big city, or see something along those lines, so like I said, it might be easier for some people to go 40 miles out than it is others. So, but their system doesn't reflect that,
Yeah, and if anybody has, and I've brought this up with agents before, that is something we can definitely do. I would have to do an invite to the agents for that email that you're looking to use. So just reach out to me if that's something you want to talk about. Um, oh, and also this would be a very good time of the year to go into your profile, make sure all the information is correct, because you have to upload your new E&O policy, which Larry sent out in an email earlier in the week. So make sure that you guys are all doing that as well. Make sure your license is up to date. And whenever, not only your license, your physical uploaded license is correct, but the expiration date in the system, because that's what will kick off the next task to upload that. So that's why you want to make sure that those dates are correct as well.
Be careful on the E&O because each state has their own E&O, and within each state, they have 4 different EXP E&Os. Okay, and then you've got general liability and what's the other one, Kelly?
Workers' comp.
Workers'
California.
comp.
I think California is the only state, but we have 4 different E&O policies for the state of California.
And those
And the-
riders take additional time. I know I've been talking with some of you guys, and guys, this is a pain in the ass every single year. They do not, you don't renew your car insurance until it actually expires. They do the same thing. This has happened even at Carrington, where we had our own asset management company. This is not an EXP thing. This is a general policy. I know it's frustrating. We won it all yesterday, a week before. This is when it comes out. The writers take additional time, and we are working on them. I promise you. We want everybody's accounts to be safe. Like we've talked with Zome, they will reinstate us and stuff like that, and we will get them out as soon as we have them.
Yeah, and I'm literally, as we speak, texting Holly Mayberry, who's our executive vice president of operations. So she's assuring me they're going to get this stuff out to us ASAP.
All right, guys. Well, again, I have to run, but I really appreciate everybody coming on today. It was a good call. I recorded it. It will be in the newsletter. I'll let you guys know when the next one is. Neil, Kim, 100%. Thank you so much for coming on today. You saved my butt today. Because I tried to promote this particular call when we had a lot of agents on. So I really appreciate that. So with that, I'm going to end off the call. If you guys have any other questions, email me. I'll be around all day today as soon as I'm done with this event. So talk to you guys soon.
Good
Thanks.
luck
Thank
with it,
y'all,
Eric.
guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.